Okay, this is E2M4, and we're back with UAC Fail, the very original thing. So, in this video, I'll be playing through the first episode. I will also be doing a brief video of the second episode and show the first four maps, and I'm gonna be playing through with them also in a separate video with commentary. But this video, I'll be using this to cover some of the design choices of UAC Fail, which is the original megawatt. So this is the megawatt that UAC Fail PlayStation Edition is based on. So it's like if you're one of those new guys that have just found out about the PlayStation Edition, I would say that this is the Godfather of the PlayStation Edition. This is work in progress. It is a megawatt for the Ultimate Doom that it is said to have 3 episodes in it. 27 maps, 3 episodes. So this is, quote, the main WAT file. It is the Godfather of UAC Fail PlayStation Edition. And so the PlayStation Edition's maps are coming from this megawatt that I'm showing right here. And also it's like, so this is the main UAC Fail. So it's like this has and it's like most of the maps are, in case of the first episode, are being converted from this one. And also we have some episode 2 maps. Episode 3 has not been yet started because I'm working on episode 2 for this Ultimate Doom thing that I'm playing right now. So yeah, let's get out of the first map. Yeah, the map names are the same in this version also, but these maps are more detailed on PC, obviously, because on PC you can do a lot more cooler things than you can do on PlayStation. So it's like these maps were designed prior to the PlayStation version. So it's like, for example, this map is when you play this map on PlayStation, this area does not even exist. So it's like when you play on PlayStation, this area would not exist for technical limitations sake. Let's put it that way. And for example, none of these skyboxes exist. So it's like on PC, this is a little bit more cooler, and you can see these cool things and computers, blinking lights, tons of sectors used and stuff like that. So, but yeah, there are also some differences, other differences actually. I'm gonna show, for example, this lift is much more vertical. So it's like, it goes actually between 3 floors. So it's like on PlayStation, when you play the PlayStation Edition, it does not even have this lift. So it's like, it's things like this that make the difference. And for example, this maze is a little bit more complicated, and it has a backpack in it, and then there's a radiation suit in it, which is kind of a little bit useless, but still, it is there if you need it. This area looks somehow similar to the PlayStation Edition version stuff thing. Dude, cool. Whatever, yeah. It looks pretty much the same, but for example, here we have like this masked wall or whatever, blocking wall thing, and also this room is much more vertical than it was on PSX. So it's a little bit different. And yes, originally UAC Fail was started around 2012. It took me literally like forever to make the first episode, and it was like finished somewhere around 2016 or something. And then I just released a demo of this. But I felt that, that demo is not as good as obviously this main thing that I'm playing right now. So I'm probably gonna redo the demo. So I'm gonna have it, you know, reduce monster count and stuff. So because this edition right here has reduced monster count. So it has all the because some of the maps used to have pretty high monster count. Like some of the maps used to have like, for example, E1M4 had like 356 monsters in it. So that's an awful lot of bad guys for, even it's a sizable map, but still. That's a pretty high monster count for episode 1 map. And for example, this area, you can clearly see that the PlayStation edition, it's completely different from this one. And also I have you know, reduced the monster count to make these maps more beatable on Nightmare. So if you're one of those speedrunner guys, you feel otherwise capable of speedrunning, or you just want to play skillfully otherwise and stuff, so these maps have all of that taken into account. And also these maps are non-linear, so it means that you can basically go wherever you want, whenever you want. Well, not exactly like literally, but you know, most of the areas are interconnected, so it's like there's usually more than one way to access a certain area, which I think is one of the core things of one of the core values that I do with level design. Thanks to Plutonia's Plutonia 2, I think he was one of Plutonia 2's mappers, and he also made the levels for the Slaughter Whack called Kama Sutra. He made a lot of maps for that. I think he's a Czech mapper. He's I think his name is Adolf Vojta, I think. He is very good. I was heavily inspired by his work, and if I hadn't like played Plutonia 2, it's like my maps would not necessarily, of course I probably won't be, you know, going so detailed as he does with Plutonia 2's maps and stuff, but I like the certain chaos in his maps that he creates. It's like, they're just like, every time when you play the map, it's like, it's different every time. I mean, let's say that you played this map for let's say 3 times. You can find out new ways to complete this level, and you can, okay, yeah, I missed that secret. Oh yeah, there's that courtyard. How do I get there and stuff? Things like that. Those are, in my opinion, very important when you make when you make maps and you try to do things and think of gameplay aspects of things. But I was indeed heavily inspired by him. And also I like, and I would say that, you know, he is one of the best mappers. Adolf Vojta. He is a Czech mapper, and he is, I think he's a speedrunner too. I don't know if, yeah, and I think his nickname is Gasta. Yeah, Gasta is his nickname. Yeah, he is the guy. So yeah, he's a good mapper and one of the best, at least when it comes to different ideas that I've gotten for my maps. And I have to say that this was one of the earlier unlinear maps that I made. It's actually the second unlinear map that I made, this one. This was made in 2012. So it's a pretty old map, but still. So it's a very old map, but I kind of like this, and also I like to, you know, use that. For example, right here, you can kind of like see outside, and you get this sense of location, and you feel like, okay, I'm in this tech base, and okay, maybe could be like a cool courtyard out there or something, with some cool secrets or something like that. So. And that's like also, and one of the key rules that I decided to keep in mind with USC Fail is that I try to keep the maps short. I try to keep it so that all of the maps are completable under 10 minutes. So it's like that's important. Of course, if you're a skilled player and your movement is fast and you know what to do, and most of the encounters are probably not going to be too tedious for you to handle. In that case, I would say that you can complete most of the maps under 10 minutes easily, even the most quote longest maps. So it's like that's one of the guidelines that I decided to take, because I want these maps to be kind of like unlinear, short, fun, but stuff like that. But at the same time, they are detailed and they look like levels that could exist in 2010 around. So for example, around here, it's pretty cool that there's this cool teleporter tower and stuff. So yeah. And also I decided to pay attention to the pacing of the maps. So it's like some maps, for example, this map, that last map was maybe a little bit tough, I guess. So this map is a little bit more of a downscaled map. So it's like this map is like more of a breather. So, and if you find all the secrets in this one, you're really gonna have a good setting for going into E1M4, so it's not gonna be much of a problem. So yeah, that is the most obvious secret in the world, so we'll take that. And also I tried to, somehow mimic the gameplay of the original Ultimate Doom Episode 1, Knee Deep in the Dead. Knee Deep in the Dead. Jesus Christ, that's hard to say, because I hate it when English has that, silent letters and stuff like that. I really hate it. It's like you have to say like knee. It's really... Ooh. I'm not going to say that again. But anyway, the first episode of the Ultimate Doom, I'm trying to mimic the gameplay. So it's like E1M4, like it should be qualified as a little bit of an easy map. And for example, this area is completely different when you play on PlayStation. It's like this area has absolutely nothing to do with it. Of course, it has like this and, all the pickups and stuff. But for example, this window was not there and you can clearly see all the computers and you can see across and things like that. So it's like that's also one of those things that I want to have, like maps that are kind of like a little bit open. So it's like there are lots of windows, lots of things that you can see across, but not so that, that they would not have necessarily a, kind of like useless, because they are kind of like thought out. And what I also want to do is, like in this case, I wanted the player to get kind of excited about this area. So it's like, okay, yeah, there's that cool column, blue column. Okay, there's a walkway, there's a, a warehouse, a door, and then there's something there too. So it's like, and you can probably get, if you're lucky enough, you can get the, a peek of that key, which used to be there. So it's like you can get excited about, it's like, okay, yeah, there's a place for me to go, and, and there's like, stuff that I want to reach out to, and it's like, okay, yeah, I saw a bad guy on that yard, so there must be something out there. So it's like, these are so, they might sound really insignificant things, but they are huge. Because if you want to make maps that have interesting gameplay, at least, in my opinion, like these things are the kind of things that you want to do. Or at least have some of these. It's like, of course, I'm not like saying that, okay, yeah, my maps are the best maps in the world and blah, 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 so on and so forth. But it's just that I'd like to share some of my own thoughts and some of the things that I feel that are right about map design and stuff. So, and for example, here, you can have a peek at the rocket launcher from here. So it's like, and once you get down here, it's like, Yeah, Mr. Spectre, I wasn't talking to you, so you might shut up at this point. So you can kind of like get a peek of that rocket launcher, and then it's like, how do I get there? It's like, can I bump the rocket launcher? I think it's I think it could be possible. Which, if I could do it, I wouldn't fix that glitch. I don't think that's possible, it's too far away. Oh well, let's get out of here. But yeah, as I was saying, it's like these are kind of like the things that make a big difference. So it's like, yeah. And I'm not saying like, you know, it's like my maps are the best and stuff, so it's like, it is just the way that I think of level design. And it's like, of course we all have our own ways to make maps, and you know, some things may not be impressive to some people, but yeah. You always want to have like a little bit of your own middle path with your maps. Have something that you like doing, but at the same time have something that, you know, people get excited over. So it's like you always have to kind of like at the same time imagine like what it would be for like somebody else to play your maps. And it's like one of the most important lessons that I learned as a mapper when I was making Duke 3D maps in 2004, and one of the mappers, he's a very good Duke 3D mapper, and he gave me one little piece of advice. I was making this Duke Nukem 3D episode 2 level 8 inspired space map, which had like absolutely ridiculous number of monsters, and he said to me that, okay, yeah, look dude, there's this thing that, you know, this may be a cool map for you to play, but it's not cool for other people who are playing it. So it's like, that's one thing that I've always wanted to, you know, emphasize in my maps. And of course, you know, we all make mistakes, and sometimes it's like trial and error, and sometimes you think that, okay, yeah, maybe I made a good map, and yeah, it turns out that people just might be really struggling to meet your map and stuff. So it's like, that's I'm quite sure that happens to everybody, and it has happened to me as well. So it's like, sometimes it's like I tend to do like low ammo maps and stuff. So those were usually the ones that are probably getting the most criticism out of all levels. And I think that it's like, it's kind of okay to have one low ammo map at the same time, but you know, but not to have like, you know, 3 maps that have like really low ammo in them, and it's like then the player is like forced to, you know, do Tyson and stuff. Of course, you know, that would not be a problem if the megawad or, you know, the map set is set to have like Tyson stuff in it. So it's like, that's completely fine. But if you like, because it's kind of also important to remember your target audience. For example, this, I think this would be like one of those megawatts that when it comes out, what I'm doing with UAC fail is that I'm trying to, you know, create this as the kind of megawatt that it would suit for everybody. If you're like one of those players that you're looking for just something to play, this should be right up in your alley. Or at least that's what I hope it will be when it comes out eventually. And it's like, it's something that people get excited about, and you know, and if you're like a Doom, like, you know, a Doom veteran, for example, where you're very skilled with the game, there's something for you also, particularly in case of episode 3. Some of the boss fights are a little bit more tedious, so it's like those are kind of the things that I've been trying to capture, and so there's something for everybody. Instead of just, you know, having, because, for example, this, the demo version that I released of UAC Fail, this megawatt, it features the first episode, but the monster count of those maps in the demo was absolutely ridiculous. For example, this map had like, you know, 356 monsters in it, which is pretty damn a lot. So it's like, that's like, again, one of those classic mistakes that I made, was that I kind of like thought that, okay, I think it's pretty cool because, and also the fact that at the time when I was starting to make the episode too, for this megawad, so at the time, around that time, just prior to that, I was kind of like considering that this is going to be a one episode megawatt. This is going to be just an episode, one nine map episode, with this episode 1 included. So I kind of like packed up a ton of monsters there, so just so it's like, it would kind of be like one episode, a little bit tougher episode, but it would still be classic. So it's like that all kind of changed when I decided to expand UAC Fail to feature 3 episodes. There were some ideas that there would be episode 4, but at the moment I don't see that happening with this megawatt, because the level of the detail of this design that I'm doing is, it's like, it's really like, I remember making this map, it's like this was one of the hardest maps to make for the episode, and it was the last map to be completed for this episode. Jesus Christ, this map was just so a major pain in the butt to make. Absolutely it was total nightmare to make this map. It was just so hard. And it's like, and also the fact that this map is a little bit more generous with space than the other levels of the episode. And to be honest, I kind of like this map because of that, because you have that, the scale is kind of a little bit different. Yes, and I forgot the blue key, I guess. Oh wait, I got used to the PlayStation version, because on PlayStation the key is right there. The key is right there. But here on PC it is right here, so maybe that tells you how much I've been playing the PlayStation version, so I get accustomed to that. Okay, yeah. So now we'll go to the blue door. So at least that is located around the same place. And also I wanted to be a little bit more gimmicky with the first episode, so it's like you get a lot of ammo, just like, you know, in the first episode, you get like a ton of rockets, and it's just, you know, it's a big fun shooting gallery and things like that, so. And also one of the things that I wanted to do is that this is like, add these kind of little small things there. It's like a little bit of destroyed tech walls. Well, that may be a little bit out of place, but, you know, still, I wanted to have stuff like that, those minor insignificant columns, you know, lighting everywhere, but I think these episode 1 levels aren't really that well lit as the second episode's maps. The second episode has easily the bestly lit levels, particularly E2M6 and E2M4. Those are really like very atmospheric, very dark levels. Contrasts are really dramatic, height, and particularly in the case of E2M4, it's like it's not only the contrast of lighting, it's also the contrast of height. Lots of different things going on in that case. So. And also in this case, I wanted to have like 3 red doors. So it's like you have one over here, you can take this route, you can take this, but at the same time you have the luxury of coming from this entrance. So it's like, it may be a little bit unnecessary, but then again this area would have a dead end, which would make no sense. So yeah, and this area is just so ridiculously detailed. On PlayStation there is nothing more than a hallway. But yeah, this is really detailed. Well, not really like super duper detailed, but quite detailed enough. Or at least detailed enough for me. Let's put it this way. And it's the same thing with this area. This area is a lot more detailed too. It has like lots of those tiny shaded sectors all over it, and so many things going on. And this area is also a little bit expanded. So we're gonna get the key. But the difference is that when you play on PC, the traps are on both sides. So it's not like, you know, that you get away, that all of the monsters are coming just only from one direction. In this case, they're coming from both directions. So you kind of like have to be really fast, and you have to secure a foothold. So it's like there's no real safe haven around here unless you make yourself one. So it's like that's also one of the things that you want to have, like these kind of little small gameplay decided gameplay decisions that the player has to make. All these little things that, okay, yeah. For example, now I have the luxury of having more boxes of bullets if I clear either of the hallways, things like that. All those little things. So now we have all the keys, and here we have the yellow door. So it's like, and also we have 3 yellow doors, which are all connected to the red door area. What? That's impossible. And that's interesting. Go figure. And also this this area takes us back to this area. So it's like you also have the benefit of coming like from multiple directions. But at the same time, you don't really want to make the map like too complicated, because at the same time it can be a weakness if the map is too complicated at the same time. So there has to be like a balance between a good flow and exploration. I think that is very difficult to do sometimes, and sometimes even some of my maps they just get completely carried away. I get completely carried away with the size of the map, and you know, sometimes like I make these unnecessary areas so much that in case of some maps, I just decided that I will be a brutal person, and I'm gonna remove like these areas entirely. I'm just gonna select them and press delete, and that's all you have to do. But yeah, this is also one of those E2M4 kind of traps. It can be done quite easily if you know what to do, but it's obvious that it's a big trap. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to crowd control, which will be the 7th level and one of the most complicated levels I've probably ever made. This map is just it is a big mess. But I tried to go for something like E2M7, I think, which I think would be quite polite for this slot anyway, because this is E2M7, so why not? Why not to have something like E2M7 in terms of gameplay and complexity? But there is still the kind of structure around the map, so it's like you might be lost. There is still a chance that you will probably stumble upon the correct path eventually. So it's like, for example, this map does not really have like one distinctive path that you would have to follow, and you would like have to find out like one specific path at some point. So there's just lots of things going on. But this map is, as I said, it's very, very unlinear. It's kind of very much, it is a large map, but at the same time, this map has plenty of rewards if you just keep looking for them. But visually, this map is like completely different from the PlayStation versions. Like PlayStation version is a little bit more closed map and it's more of indoor map. This map is just some really weird contrast, different combination of different areas, different textures, and you know, stuff like that. No walls being cut, and you know, skyboxes to be seen everywhere. You know, destroy walls. Really strange things happening. And for example, this area is fairly different from the PlayStation version. just like this one. This is like completely different again. It has more cover, skyboxes and things like that. Same thing around here, although that room remains mostly simplistic, which I think is a good thing because you don't want to have too detailed and too cramped rooms at the same time. So this is kind of like a little bit of a mimicking of the E1M7's courtyard area with the shotgun guys. But at the same time, I wanted to make a little bit of a cool introduction to that outdoor area. So it's like you have this weird little tech hallway with some really strange texture things going on. I usually don't come this way, although it is possible. I don't know if it's completely like risk-free to come this way. I don't know. But anyway, okay. Yeah, I need to make sure that I'm not dying. So, and also one thing I like doing is that I like, texturing the monster closets differently apart from the main room, which I think is kind of cool because it kind of sets the monster closets apart, and it's kind of a little bit of a language that, okay, maybe this is an inaccessible area or there could be a secret, so... But yeah, this is like one of those really weird tech areas with some skybox texturing. You can't really see it from here, but that's pretty weird stuff, I would say. I mean, or mostly the kind of stuff that I usually don't do. But on the other hand, I like doing some detailed skyboxes and with those, metal textures and stuff. But this area is slightly dark when you play on PC too, but it's nothing compared to the PlayStation version. Because when you play PSX, you can't see it. You can't literally see anything in this area. So the PC version is much more open, and there's lots of open stuff. And for example, this little area right here, it's basically like this. So it's all open, and there's the exit, and you can kind of like see those areas, and it's the same thing here. You can kind of like see, okay, yeah, there's something. Take a little bit of a coolness peek, and then if you're skillful, you can strafe run over there and get that one. And this area is a little bit more of a wider area, I think. And this is kind of an optional area with the yellow key, so you don't really have to come here. So, and this is again completely different from the PlayStation version. It's like you can see that there's a box of rockets. This is completely different from the, PlayStation version again. It's really like, and then you can go there if you know how to. I'm not gonna tell you how you do that. But yeah. And here we have the, supercharge thing. So it's like you can kind of like see that, okay, yeah, there's that supercharge, but how do I get there? So it's like things like that. Those are like minor things, but they are important part of level design language, and also adding motivation for the players to do exploring. For example, like people like doing exploring, but if the map is just in a straight path, it can be a good thing if it's a short map and it has a clear intention of doing and being a straightforward map. I think that's okay then, but in the long run you want to have a little bit of variety in the way, a little bit of more variety always when you make maps. And yeah, this is the thing that we can see all the way to the exit. It's like we can see pretty much almost to all directions. So it's like that's important to have that, and that also helps the player to memorize different areas. if you see something familiar, it's like it might be a little bit easier for the player to remember, okay, yeah, I was there just maybe like 5 minutes ago, and okay, yeah, but now I'm here. So it can also allow the players to help navigating around some areas. So it's like, and also texturing plays a very important part of that. So it's like if you start using like one texture for very much of a like a large area, then it's like it may sound a little bit strange, but for example, you want to have like certain distinctive textures to some areas so players know where to go, and it's like because players might memorize some of the textures and okay, so yeah, I remember this area had that texture, so, but at the same time it can be a weakness if you have too many textures, and it can kind of like lead to disorientation. But I have not like, done that, planned like the whole thing, but I usually try to avoid the excessive complexity with some of the maps, even like, they are kind of, for example, that map was pretty damn complex when it comes to, this episode. So that was one of the most complicated maps anyway. And I think, from this point onward, we really don't have too many complicated maps in this one, or the main UAC fail, which is the original megawad, in case you missed that. So it's like this is the megawad that the UAC fail PlayStation edition is based on. So it's like it uses levels that are being converted from this megawad that is in the making, or actually both of them are in the making. The PlayStation edition is also in the making, and this version is in the making as well. But yeah, this is the last map of the first episode. And I was an idiot and I couldn't grab that one, so that is the most awesome thing. I'm gonna have to take this little secret right here. It's not much of a secret, but it is a secret. I mean, really, Mr. Spectres? Could you like... But yeah, with the PC version you have the luxury of doing this. Yeah. I think there's one more. Yeah. There he is. And also this map is completely different from the PlayStation version. It's like the styles, the textures everything has changed. Alright, so here goes. Let's get started. And also we don't have too much space, which means that I am basically dead. But yeah, I'm gonna probably wrap this up right here. I'm not gonna redo the map. But yeah, that is the first episode. Also, I wanted, this boss map to be a little bit more on the easy side of things. So it's like it's more, it relies on like high number of barons, and there's a certain like strategic dimension when you are fighting those barons, because there is not necessarily too much space to deal with them. So it's like you have to make use of your space, you have to use your rockets wisely, and then there are these barrels. And you may wonder, why are they being placed there in such fashion? Because you can use them against the bosses. So it's like that's the thing with that. But yeah, this is the original UAC fail for the Ultimate Doom. And I'm probably going to update UAC fail, the Ultimate Doom version. I'm going to update the demo so it has the latest versions of the map with reduced monster counts and stuff. So yeah, But I think that's really everything about this one, so next time we will see you in episode 2, when we will be returning with UAC fail. So yeah, I think that's really everything about UAC fail, so yeah. Thanks for watching and see you around.